Hello, everybody, and welcome to our podcast. I am Polly Harnett.
I am Jane Morton.
And our lovely guest for today
is
Tina Price.
Tina, it's lovely to have you on. Tina, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, so hi everybody. I as you know, Tina, because I've just said that, and call me what you like, but Tina will do. I have been working with spirits since I was about 24. I was well aware of it beforehand. I started off as a card reader, then I progressed a little bit to angel board reading, and then I went to the lovely Polly's development class and done a little bit of mediumship healing. But I really am more into angel board readings and card readings than anything else now.
Says the budding medium who's been up on stage with us. And yeah, I know it takes a little while to fully, let's say, accept that. But when it keeps kicking you up the bum, Tina, doesn't it? We know what we are. But yeah, so today, what we thought about talking about, bearing in mind we have the lovely Tina, who seems to be doing an awful lot of angel boards at the moment, is angel boards. So we're going to talk about the table. And we're going to talk about
we're talking about angel boards. We're not talking about table tipping.
No, not table tipping, even though this would be an ideal table, it seems, for that. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about the good and the bad of angel boards. An angel board, if you don't already know, is a spirit board, let's say a fluffed up version of a Ouija board, which it basically is. You know, if anyone, like I said, hadn't heard of angel boards and know what a Ouija board is, you'd have the letters, you'd have the numbers, perhaps you'd have good hello and goodbye on them. The angel board usually is used for a different intention than a Ouija board. A Ouija board back in the day perhaps would have been called a parlour game. However, in my head and Jane's head, I know we wouldn't call it a parlour game, and we definitely wouldn't call it a game.
No.
And yeah, I mean, used properly with the correct protection, guidance, and the correct medium in charge of such a thing, can be a very, very rewarding thing to do, a very rewarding modality, let's say. So how did you get into it, Tina? How did you get into the Ouija boards? How did you get into using an angel board?
I was going to say, I'm not getting into a Ouija board, thank you very much. So I started round about in late 30s after my last child was born. It was during a meditation session that I had. I just had a vision of a board, and it definitely wasn't a Ouija board because there was something in the middle. I've had that board later on made for me, specially made. So the vision I had for a long time, I managed to finally get done just a couple of years back. And it was sort of me and two friends who wanted to contact somebody. I didn't know who they wanted to contact, and they knew I'd done card readings, and they felt if I'd done a card reading for them, I knew too much about them. So they wanted to contact their loved ones, and they had a list of stuff to validate. So this is how it all started. I could not believe how spirit could validate questions that not, there was two friends and one didn't know the other one's. I think one was a brother, thinking back, and one was a friend. And we both, we sat there thinking, where's this coming from? Because you can't push a glass if there's three fingers on a glass, because the glass would tip, because one person doesn't know where they're going to go and the other person doesn't know what the answers are to their question. And this is how it validated it for me. And I just felt a really strong connection. So once I'd started doing the angel board little bits at a time, a couple of years back, I felt really drawn to it again, and I just felt like my guide was saying I needed to up my game a little bit, if you want to call it a game. And the feedback that I was getting and the comfort that people seemed to be getting from coming to visit and speak to their loved ones was far greater than what I was giving them on a card reading. The card readings to me or a little bit more about them and bringing mediumship through if their loved ones want to come through. Whereas the angel board is literally for that person that comes to visit me to speak direct with their loved one.
So I have a question, because as you both know, I am not a lover of the board. Not because obviously you get very good reviews, Tina, and so do some of the people we know. I just don't feel the need to use it or want to use it. As a medium, and you are a medium, like Polly said, you've been on stage with us. We have got you up even at some of our demonstration
More
events.
than once, I think.
More than once to get up and do a little slot. We got you up for a charity do. You were one of the people that did the charity night with us. As a medium, are you sitting back on that angel board and just letting spirit do the movement, or are you getting messages as well to give them?
I get messages as well. I get a lot of messages because sometimes you'll have a person come through and they will give, let's take for instance, Friday last week. I had a gentleman come through, father and obviously a husband. I had the wife and the son come and visit, and he was lazy here on earth and he was lazy on the angel board. He was giving us, sometimes we would just get an initial and we would say, can you give us the rest? And he'd go to no. And he wouldn't give us the rest. But that is exactly how he was here on the earth. But when he wanted to say something and he didn't want to keep going all the way around the letters, he was saying it to me and I was giving them this information.
So I can see why so many people come back to you, because they're getting the best of both there, because you can fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
I think for me, and obviously we've done our when you came to development group, we used to do our Halloween special every year, didn't we? And you'd have the angel board, and we'd have all sorts of different things going on. But I was surprised when I went to somebody wanted an angel board, so I took a friend because she wanted to go, and I said I'd come and support her, but not really participate. I was shocked because of my ignorance towards it, that you don't have to be near the board. You set it up with the right intention, and you stand back and let people get on with it in the room. And I suppose as a psychic and a medium, that doesn't, you know what I'm like, I like to be up there. It didn't work for me because I was thinking, oh no, because I need to give some messages. So I think with me as a medium, and we talked about this, haven't we, Polly? I would rather just get the message straight from the person so I can say it. But I get with the board, it moving around, that the people in the room get some validation that way as well. But maybe I'm too impatient. I need that answer now. I haven't got time for them to spell it out.
Apologies for the dogs. Yeah, have you? One question I've got for you, Tina, because I did used to do angel boards and I stopped doing them. Not actually because of the spirit, weirdly enough. You know, like sometimes you can have bad experiences. A couple of times I went to other people's houses and did them, and they were drinking, so that was a big no-no for me. I don't do spirits and spirits, if that makes sense. And other times that I knew that a person on the board was cheating and pushing it. I could see it. You could see the force of it. In the end, a bit like Jane, I'd rather just sit there and connect myself, but that's just me. Mine was more the people that were some of the people, not all, and it was only a few, who I felt came not necessarily for the right intention a few times. You know, it was almost like they wanted their spirit up there to say something bad about somebody else. And you know, when you're thinking, no, this isn't for me personally. Right. However, like Jane said, you know, we know that everyone that's come to you rates you really highly. So have you ever had a bad experience on the board?
I have had a bad experience on the board where it was when I first decided to go back to the board and I didn't fully feel it was right when the person sat down. There was two of them at the time and I didn't feel they were taking it as serious as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I stopped the board because it didn't feel right to me and I wasn't getting connections. And if I'm doing the angel board, my spirit guide needs to be with me so I know what's going on. And I trust my spirit guide. And if he's not there and she's not, because I've got two, I've got Ada and Yobo. And if they're not there, I'm not doing that angel board because that to me, they'll be there to guide me, to protect my home. One thing I won't do now is take the angel board out of my home. I've tried that a couple of times. I don't particularly feel right in somebody else's house, whereas in mine, I know I've saged it. I know I've done everything I can to protect myself, my family, my home. It's always protected. When you go to somebody else's house with your angel board, how do you know that
Well,
house?
that's interesting as well, because like Polly said, we've all done readings and we've all done parties where we've done private parties or we've done psychic suppers. Again, we've all worked together doing that. And it can be hard going. And parties in people's homes are hard going because there's always drink involved, because people look at it as a fun entertainment evening. It's not entertaining for the person doing it because you're tired, you're trying to stay focused. and you're dealing with people getting rowdier and rowdier. So I didn't want to do parties no more, because also the feedback that came back sometimes was that I was leaving negative energy with my tarot cards. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. But we know that this work we do is still very highly taken the mick out of. People will still troll us. We all get trolls on our page. We all get sort of strange requests. We know that there's a lot of people that are actually mainly scared of it. So they're the ones that troll us or are unpleasant about it. But the reason they're scared, that fear-based thing, comes from, funny enough, horror film-based that used Ouija boards, that used the devil in the tarot card and stuff like that. So people see that, along with black cats, poor black cats that get a bad press. They see it as something leaving black magic or leaving some kind of negative sort of area. So it's weird that you say about the angel board, because it would never enter my head if I was doing angel boards, especially the size. You've got a beautiful one, carrying that around and plonking it down and having that special space. Because at least when you were doing it at home, you've got your own space with your own stuff, and your stuff is like you said, it's cleansed, it's yours, you know, it's all taken care of. It's cleansed between clients. It's funny that people would say, "Oh, could you bring your angel board round and do a party?" I mean, pull out your pasting table, because yours is quite big, isn't it? And and I think, but they're all like, years ago, they would have been scared of it. I mean, we can call it an angel board. It is an Ouija board. It was called an Ouija board. Back in the day, that's what it was. I'd love to know, actually, and maybe one of you two know or could look it up, but where it got changed to an angel board.
Well, I think it's still, I mean, some people used to call it a Ouija board, some people used to call it a spirit board, but basically, really, an angel board is a Ouija board. It's exactly the same thing, apart from the intention. And sometimes it has nice pictures on, but the intention of what you're using it for. I mean, back in the day, they would be trying to locate anything coming through. You go on ghost hunts and people take angel boards on ghost hunts. I've seen them, but their intention isn't always pure. I mean, lovely Tina would be, someone like Tina is only going to want to help the people that are coming into her home, bringing in genuine messages from loved ones. And somebody like Tina would have the integrity and honesty to stop something and probably not charge people if she felt at all uncomfortable, as if I would and you would, Jane, if a reading wasn't making sense, for example. But not everybody is like that. And when I've been on paranormal investigations and I've seen people antagonize spirit, they don't know what they're playing with. They literally just want some sort of reaction. And these are sometimes the people that are leading the investigations. They're not always just the people that are coming along. It's almost like we want something to happen. It's like watching Most Haunted. We want something to happen. Doesn't mean it's real. Does that make sense? Or
Absolutely.
that something's coming through that is of a very negative nature. And people are, egging themselves on or egging each other on and basically leaving themselves wide open. I mean, a lot of these paranormal investigations, they're not doing any sort of protection or prayer of intent beforehand. They're just looking for some excitement, and somebody's paid £35-40 for a ticket. And so they need a bit of excitement.
That's my other bugbear. Maybe we'll have to do a paranormal show one week and get somebody on, because we have a few people that do paranormals. And yes, we've both been to them, and you've actually been the medium on them. But yeah, that's a whole different ballgame, isn't it, if we went down paranormal? Because I think there's a lot of people out there, and this is what we're saying with the angel board, that are using things that they haven't got a clue about, really. I'm not saying that you've got to have, training in what? I mean, you need advice, you need guidance. A lot of the work we do comes from whatever reason we can do it. We don't know why we can do it. We've gone to places to develop it and actually be able to control it. We haven't gone and learnt it. We've gone to understand it, is how I look at it.
We've already got that ability. We're just developing it and moving forward.
some people think they can do these things and actually haven't got a clue about anything, and then they come across something a bit sticky, like Tina said when she's had a couple of people there and don't know what to do with them. And I've certainly had people now with readings that I have sat opposite straight away and thought, oh, I don't want to, no, this isn't going to work. I've even asked someone to leave because they were not talking appropriately. They came with their partner and it was quite worrying actually how they were talking. You know, we are more and more, this work we all do is becoming more and more publicised. There's always someone doing something, especially in Portsmouth where we're all based.
Yep.
And there's just literally an overrun now, isn't there? Someone doing something spiritually, which in some ways is good because it's opening people up to be more in tune with their life. But it's also bringing in some people. And I'm not saying to anyone that's watching us thinking, how dare they talk about us? But we know it is because we are all of us, all three of us have been tidying up other people's work because it is bringing an element of danger. People are shouldn't be trusted with these things. And there's people out there that are so desperate to speak to their loved ones. They are getting roped into this.
So I had 3 girls come to me who had been to someone else.
So we don't name people on here.
No, I'm
We'd
not
love
going
to,
to.
but we don't because we're all professional.
They were really down about how bad the board was. Now, this is just my take on it. My take is people are going and learning the angel board when they are not mediums.
100%.
And that scares the life out of me because that means you're using the board like a Ouija board.
Yeah.
Because if you are not a medium, how can you control what's coming through?
I'm clear on that.
And how also can you deal with a situation? I mean, yes, they might be getting talked like that, but I mean, you sat in mine and Jane's development group for a time. But I mean, the good thing about you, Tina, is that you've got a brain in your head, and you're not going to want to put yourself or anybody else in a sticky situation. Right. You're a sensible person, but there are a lot of people that, we've experienced all sorts of things in our life. We've all grown up spiritually in our way, whether we wanted to admit it or not at certain points in our life. But we know that the ultimate is, for one thing, is to protect ourselves and also protect the people that we are working with.
Yep,
And making sure that they are emotionally all right after a session, whether it's mediumship, healing, or angel boards, or whatever it is we're doing. We know that we've got a personal responsibility to look after these people. And somebody like you and all of us, none of us want to be in a situation where we've got, I'm so sorry,
where we've got
Spirit.
something coming across our screen.
Spirit or attachments or something that's not very nice
Which
of
one
nature.
was that, Polly? Which one was that?
Was
It's just walked across.
Theo.
No, I mean, which was it? A spirit or an attachment?
That was
That's an
that was a
attachment.
cat,
Yeah.
which I wasn't expecting and made me jump. So yeah, I mean, we've got a personal responsibility for the people that we work with and ourselves, and we don't want an attachment. We don't want any bad energy in our home, or we don't want any of those people to take anything home with them. And so we know that we're going to work in a way, whatever we're doing, that we're protecting everything. We protect ourselves, our space, and our clients, and that they go home all right, and that they go home feeling, some sort of hope or joy or some sort of information that's going to bring them some hope.
Mhm.
And some of the people that are trained, apparently trained, like you said, if you're not trained spiritually, how can you deal with something if it goes wrong?
I think that's why I struggle with it because obviously, Tina, you are a medium. You were a medium many, many years ago. You joined Polly's group originally before I came along and taught as well to just really get that back in check, didn't you? You knew what you could do. We all will read cards, so we have an ability of understanding our intuition and what we can do. But do you even think, I mean, and I said it for years, didn't I, when we worked on SPTV, I'm not a medium. I always told people I'm not a medium, I'm a psychic. Now look at me doing mediumship demos, and trance mediumship, never thought that'd happen. But do you think a psychic can do an angel board, or do you think it is just a medium?
No, I think it's a medium.
So do I. And I think there's a big difference, and I think people are still getting confused with it.
Yeah. I think November probably was the month. It was either October or November. I'm sure it was November. Was the month that I I was like this. I was like, I had so many people coming to me saying, I've had an angel board and this has happened, or this hasn't happened, or now I'm feeling really low about what was said on the angel board. I do not want people leaving my home unless they're happy.
No.
They've got to be happier than they were when they came in.
Mm.
Okay, now that's me
Even
doing my
when you
job.
can't give them what they really
Yeah,
want, they
yeah,
need to go away feeling some kind of comfort,
yeah.
some kind of peace, inner peace. We can't change things that have happened, especially
And I
when we
am
lose loved
upfront
ones.
with them. I'll say to them, just because you want Bob or Jeff or Sue or whoever to come through, they might not come through. We'll set the intention, but it's up to them. You knock on somebody's door expecting to go in for a cup of tea and have a chat with them. They might not be in. They might
Yeah.
be off doing something else, so
I have
you
that
just,
problem in mediumship, don't I?
But also, I mean, I've said that to most of my clients, as especially the ones that say, "Oh, I don't want to disturb them." I said, "You're not going to disturb them. We can always knock the door. It's up to them whether they answer." And so, it is like that, and some sides of the family seem to be very chatty, and some sides of the families
yeah,
aren't,
yeah,
And sometimes it's because we can want something so badly that it actually emotionally blocks that
yeah.
flow. And so I always say, if you're going to go and do something like that, do it with somebody reputable and do it with an open mind. Because
Mhm.
if somebody comes to me for a mediumship reading, I mean, today on its own, I had somebody who a very unusual name came through, and they said, "Oh yeah." And almost looked at me like, "Oh God, not them." You know what I mean? But there was a message in it and it was appropriate. And sometimes it is appropriate. And sometimes they have to come through to say their bit and there's some healing in that.
Yeah.
However, I've had loads of
So,
times.
getting back to the angel boards, we have people that are interested in group. Obviously, we have people that do it in group. I believe they're going to watch this. I hope because they are our group members. Are they going to suddenly go? They've just said they've got to be mediums to do it. When we say that, and I think you'll agree, we don't mean you've not got a qualification in mediumship because we've just said that there is no qualification. We can't explain why we can talk to people in spirit. We just can. The reason they're in our group is because they are attracted spiritually for some reason to develop in. So they probably are mediums. They just haven't developed maybe that side of it. And then those that may be watching it that we don't know might think, well, I do the angel board and I don't care what you say because I know what I'm doing. Maybe we should encourage them to go and get some development and understand the world of spirit, not just bring them through.
I
Because
do.
I've been in situations where someone's brought spirit in on a board. I haven't been near the board. I've never touched the board. And they brought someone through and the person running the board left them to it and went to another room to do a private reading and left total vulnerable people around a board table that couldn't control what had come in. Now, I didn't do it. I've never done it. And I had to shut it down. And quite frankly, I don't even know if I did it properly. But as a medium, I just did what I thought made sense. So it is dangerous, isn't it, in the wrong hands? It's not a game. It's not. I know we said we do it at Halloween, but we do it for our group members so they try different things out on that special night. We do not take any of that as a joke. We make everything we do is done safely, even in
Mm.
our group. So it is a worry, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a
and
huge
getting back
worry.
to the more, let's say, because there's the lovely side, and the lovely side, we've got another lovely lady in our group who does and has had a few other of our group members in for readings on an angel board, and they've had a lovely time, and it's been a great experience for them, and we trust that person as well. So if that person's watching of our group, hi.
That's why I brought it up because I don't want
Yeah,
anyone in the group thinking, "Oh, you're not a medium, you shouldn't be doing it." I think
no,
there's
no, no.
great
I
potential in
do
our
think
group.
that, I mean, and certainly, if you're a developing medium and you've got some common sense and you know how to open it, close it, and protect it, great.
Or ring
That's
us up.
fine. But there's, and I was going to say, we've talked about the lovely side of people going to people like Tina and having a lovely, lovely experience. Lovely experience. But if anyone didn't know, me and Jane are also spirit release practitioners, remote spirit release practitioners. And unfortunately, there's the bad side of people that buy a board because they're not expensive. You can get one for £15 from Amazon or other places.
Or a pound in the pound shop at
Well,
Halloween.
do you know they have been in the
Yeah.
pound
Or you
shop?
can just make it yourself and it still works if the intention's put on it, whether it's
Yeah,
good
yeah,
or
yeah.
bad.
And there's those people that, as families, again, could have been a lot of grief going on in their family, or, maybe somebody had sadly taken their own life, and the whole family's been affected by this. And then they set up one because they've bought it and they read the instructions and then they do it, haven't protected themselves, haven't protected the board, have ended up literally with more than one of them in the group with a spiritual attachment, which is literally wiping them dry. And when I say wiping them dry, we have dealt with a few of these people now, haven't we, Jane, that have maybe gone at it with what they thought was the right intention. They wanted their loved one to come through. They wanted it to be them doing it. They've set it up in their own home without any protection. And people do not realise, again, that it is not a game. It is not a parlour game. It is not any sort of game. Just because you can buy one off Amazon doesn't mean that you are qualified in any way or safe to set one up and do one yourself. And we've had people literally that have had depression after using one of these, even more so than when they were suffering the loss of losing their loved one. Anxiety through the roof, literally things literally going bump in the night in their
Isn't that
homes.
maybe because if the angel board, and again, I'm not dissing those that do it, I've made my feelings quite clear, it's not for me, but is it because when we have experienced people that have possibly not been truthful on the angel board, and that is the participants as well, it's not necessarily the person that's running the angel board, that is the people on the board. If they answer something, say someone asks a question and the answer isn't the answer they wanted, but actually is quite detrimental, and that answer was actually instigated by somebody, that is really dangerous. That's no different than someone coming to us for a reading and we give our opinion of what the card says, not actually what the intuitive card is giving us or their energy. We give our own opinion because we think, well, I don't like this situation, so I'm going to tell them what I think anyway, because if I was in her shoes, I'd do it, or his shoes. So all these tools, they're all definition. I can never say that. Definition. Is it definition tools? What are they?
Divination.
Nation tools, all these tools are tools. They're all tools that we all get pulled to for one reason or another. Mine was tarot originally, so we all have a tool that we are pulled to for whatever reason, and maybe that is because that's where our strength is, but they are still a tool, and they can all be used in the wrong way, all of them.
Yeah.
It's only the angel board has the bad press because of the connection, like I said. If we were sat with a couple of ugly dolls on our sofa, we might try that one week, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
And we tried to conjure something through it. I mean, we could be touting for business, Polly, for spirit release, but we're too sensible for that. That's the same, isn't it? People do that and conjure spirits through an item, an object. So they're all tools. But if a doll was sat there, someone would go, "Oh, that's scary. It looks like Annabelle from The Conjuring," or something like that. It's people's perception. They're already going into a situation with that, especially if they've not been before, with that slight edge, that scaredness about the hype that comes with it. And then you take one person to literally do or say the wrong thing, and you're talking very dangerous situation, not just for attachments, because there'd be people saying that doesn't happen. Well, we know it does because it keeps us in work. Happen, but it's dangerous for someone's mental health. So Tina, I have a question as well. Why do you think there's such a big influx for angel boards all of a sudden?
I think I believe it is because people are more aware of spirit. People are more aware that, I don't know what it is. We've evolved. We have definitely evolved. From where I was 20, 30 years ago, we have definitely evolved.
Yeah.
And I feel that it just takes one person to have a good experience, like I've had with a family that came just before Christmas. She sent her cleaner, she sent her sisters, she sent her in-laws, and it's because she's had a really good experience from it that she said. But having said that, I have had a lady that came, I don't really like doing them one-to-one because there's a lot going on in my life. And I don't want to bring that energy from me, so I allow them to bring somebody else. And this lady came and she was so down, so depressed, I refused to do the board with her because I said, "I'm sorry, when you're feeling like that, how am I supposed to lift your energy up and make this a good reading?"
So would you have offered her something else?
I did offer her, we done cards.
Okay, because obviously
We
you
done
know,
cards. Because I
You
didn't
know,
want her
obviously,
to feel she'd come,
yeah,
wasted her time, but the
no.
energy was no good for the board.
But as
And it's
again,
if somebody comes
we're all
along messing
healers.
about, I'm not
Yeah,
doing good.
we're all healers, aren't we? And I had the pleasure of teaching you Rahani as well, Tina. I, when I have someone that down, always look at my other services.
Yes, yeah.
Healing always comes because it's one of my favourites, but also as a psychic counsellor, a spiritual counsellor, whatever name you want to give it, I'm still a counsellor. I will look at alternatives to what they need over something that's not a quick fix, because
She didn't
sometimes,
need the board.
yeah, and that's the other thing. So how many people out there do you think do that? Probably
Well,
not a
yeah,
lot.
that's another thing. I mean, and that's the good thing about being not just one thing, isn't it? Uh,
Multitask.
multi.
Multitask in the spiritual world. We can do A to Z in anything you want.
Yeah.
We can beat out the ghost busting, take the demons away, but we can also bring in the energies. But it is true though, isn't it? The more you know and evolve, and the more you develop, and the more you put a package together to help people, the more you can see what a client needs. And even if it's not necessarily what they came for and it's something cheaper, because this is something else I've been noticing, which is why I asked about the spirit boards, because some people charge quite a cheap price per head because they get about 5 people, 6 people, I don't know what it is, and they charge a cheap price per head to get that in, so they've made their money per head. Where I think sometimes pricing is tricky in this game. You are what you're worth, and it takes a while for us all to accept that, because we try and start with humbleness, but we have to accept we've got a living to make as well.
Mm.
But there is an element as well that is people going there because, I've only got to pay £10, £15, where if they came for a reading with one of us one-to-one, it'd be more.
Mm.
I wonder if it's also a financial thing, or whether it's
I
just,
don't know. I don't think it is a financial thing. I think it is a bit of an in thing at the
I think, well,
moment.
that's the other thing, and a trend. I think it's a trend.
And I think that, I mean, if you've had a good experience of something, you personally have had a good experience, then you are going to recommend your friends or your family, like Tina said, and one person has a good experience, the next person has a good experience, and that person might rate you to 3 or 4 more other people, and then they have a good experience, it's something I think that it's good to try, as long as you are
It's
going with
quite
to
nice as a
somebody.
group, isn't it? It's quite a
Yeah,
nice group thing to do. It's, even though it's not intimate, it is intimate, isn't it? Because it's a nice group
Yeah,
thing to
very.
do
and
where you're all together.
especially if you're all related and you're wanting, similar people to come through, not it's like having a group reading, isn't it? It's like having that experience that that person, that loved one's gonna come through, and those 4 or 5 people around the board are gonna all get something from it.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, if I was going to do a group like that, I'd rather it was an angel board than having 5 people in my shed,
Yeah, and
because
that's what I'm saying. I think 5 people for an angel board in the right hands is a much nicer experience than 5 people for a reading where you're trying to read, because with cards, whatever cards we use, those cards when someone has them is mainly for that person. If we pull the card, how are we trying to work out for 5 people what that card is to, because they're individual. Every card is individual to someone.
Mm,
If we all pulled the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles will mean something different to all of us.
mm,
So I think the angel board has a nice, intimate seclusion feeling, but at the same time with your loved one. So if you are a little bit nervous, that's quite nice because you've got someone there with you. Because my friend was nervous when I took her. I was curious. Like I said, not for me, not that I've been in the company of them, but I was still curious. I love reading your reviews, Tina. I will say, because despite the fact I'm not a lover, I do like to see how well your reviews are. And knowing the person you are anyway, I know that people would not only just get comfort for that board, it's just being around you. You're a very caring person. So it's nice to see, just because I don't want to do it, doesn't mean I don't like seeing people doing it well.
Yeah,
mm.
It's
yeah.
like, I don't know, trance mediumship. Would you ever think you'd sit up and do that, Tina, on a stage? Yeah. Snap. But, so we've all got a thing where we all know we're not going to do that. Polly don't care. She does everything. You name
See,
it.
I never felt like that with the angel board, but when I felt drawn to the angel board, I knew I was getting drawn for a reason.
Yeah.
And, I wasn't told to go and learn by somebody teaching me how to do the angel board. I didn't do that. I just taught myself years ago, and it's just rolled. And now I feel I probably don't need the angel board when these people come in, but they're looking at something. I don't want the just yes, no things like that. I don't want that. I want them to have a proper mediumship hour
Experience.
with me,
Yeah.
in the
And I think that's what I like about it, because you haven't gone and learnt something. You haven't set the board in the intention with the certain prayer and the certain this and all that. You know how to set your intention. You've just told me earlier before we went live that you had quite a deep meditation today and got messages. You're now doing sound baths, which is something else that's quite intense when you're under, and probably not for you because you're teaching it, but for those having the sound bath, that's quite a deep meditation state. So all the right practice of how to take care of yourself, your home, and the people around you. And you've used that initiative with your intuitive side and your mediumship to make a safe environment. That's why I think it's so worrying with others that have just gone and learnt it. And then, I mean, me and Polly have done courses. We've taught workshops. They're workshops. But we were saying this the other day. We can't give people certificates. I think, is that Tino? He agrees. Because there's no qualification in it apart from healing. Obviously, we've been qualified in that, but and the spirit release, but there's no qualification in being a psychic or being a medium.
Well, there is if you go through the SNU.
Yes, but again,
yeah.
if we talked about the church for beer all night, they say there is because it has to be their way, but we can't change the fact that each and every one of us was born with some ability, whether we wanted to acknowledge it or not. That ability was there. We could try and ignore it. I did a bloody good job of ignoring it for years, and like Tina said, 10 years now I've been doing this, and anyone that knew me before would think, what the hell's happened to her? She's an absolute weirdo. I'm not a weirdo. I still dress
Yes, you are.
normally, and I still like normal things, but I can't suppress any longer the things that I was aware of and always just thought I was a clever ass. I didn't never think it was because I actually could tune into people. But it is a weird world, isn't it, the spiritual world? And a dangerous one. Because as you said, Polly, after the loveliness of Tina's angel boards, if I'm in the wrong hand of any kind of practice, mediums saying they can do house clearance when they clearly haven't got an idea what they're doing.
Dear God. See, that's my bugbear. People literally, I know we're going off track a little bit there, but there are mediums, some of these mediums around here, that I honestly, again, not naming any names, I would not say are mediums because they're actually what they are doing. Yes, we have to charge for our work because we have to live, we have to pay our bills, we have to eat. And I pretty much dedicate my whole life to spiritual work, which I really do. And it really is a dedication. And there's people going out there very half-heartedly, giving people false information. Again, people like us, the genuine people, are going to be mopping up lots of mess from people that have been told they've got this attachment or that this is happening to them at night and blah, 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 all these weird things that I hear. And then these people are saying, I can clear spirits out of houses, I can clear attachments off you. Well, where's your qualification? Because I tell you what, we paid a lot of money and also
not even about the money.
Very
it's
intense,
training.
but a very intense group. Very intense, and it was intense learning. And we learned about, I could honestly say, about every single kind and type of spiritual attachment going, whether they are
I still can't pronounce some of it. I have to go, Polly, what
low-level entity or whether they are an ET.
Yeah.
I mean, we are covering like a multitude through a multitude of dimensional beings that we could and still there's going to be things evolving, things we're going to be learning, things we come across. But we have got a qualification and we know what we're doing and we heavily protect ourselves. I protect myself heavily about 4 times a day.
Your experience is phenomenal, Polly. Me and Tina have both sat in your group once as spectators and your students, and now I'm sitting alongside you. Mainly, I always thought I would be your student in trance, and there I am now running trance with you as well. Never will I have the experience you've got, but your experience and your knowledge was phenomenal, and me and Tina have both learned a hell of a lot from you, or have had the ability to accept what we knew we probably could do anyway, and were too scared or too unsure of, who knows. But this is why it is so bad that there's so many people out there now going out saying, I can do this, yeah, I can do that. Well, did you ever walk into I walked into houses and felt uncomfortable. I walked into houses and felt like, oh, that's a bit, oh, even before I was working spiritually, I never bought a house unless I stepped foot in it. If I went 2 feet in and something wasn't right, I would turn around and go to estate agents, no, not this one, thanks. Because something
I
told,
did that. I
yeah,
walked in once in the front door. I said, nah. They
well,
said,
once,
why? I said, because it
when,
feels like someone died in here and I don't
yeah,
like it.
because I could see someone up there and it's not looking good. I mean, of course I could see spirit even as a child, but even with that sort of thing, I didn't see demons or ghosts or spirits or anything. I just knew, oh, that house isn't for me. It's ta-ta. I don't walk in people's houses now and go, oh, you've got an attachment. Oh, you've got some interdimensional parasites. Sometimes, but not all the time. I walked around as a psychic medium when I worked as a psychic medium, and I walked around as Jane Morton in the rest of the time. When people used to ring me, and they did, you know this, we've had a few people contact both of us, and other mediums contact us before we were qualified to do work, and we both refused it. When people said, can you come and exercise this house? I can't even exercise myself, so let alone exercise anything else.
Running
But
up the stairs is an issue.
we don't walk around with holy water and crosses. They're a thing of the time. They won't work no more anyway. There's too much negative energy out there in the way it's being created. But I would go, no, that's not what I do. I can go in and tell you the house, I don't feel comfortable in your house, but I don't know what you've got in there. And the fact that these mediums are now doing it, even psychics are doing it, or just general people going, I can clear your house because I'll just get some sage. I mean, the amount of times I see that on Facebook, I'll just go and sage it. Well, I'll tell you what, not the sage on the head, because that's not going to work, because we know that now. That
Sage is really good for clearing a bit of stale energy,
bit of stale energy in between
cleansing a
clients,
room before you go in, cleansing as they've gone out.
not getting out anything bad, boys, so wasting your time. Chuck all this, you can hang the garlic over the door as well. Not going to stop anything, not even the werewolves and the vampires no more. Things have moved on in this decade, this
Yeah.
century. There are a lot of things out there. But I just think this is where the whole thing, and we get made a mockery, don't we, with some of our work. Not the people we've worked with, because they've absolutely been blown away with it, but people that go, what, you can go ghost busting? Well, no, we don't go ghost busting, because we move a lot more than that, and we do it.
Mhm.
We do it in trance, which is even better, because we don't even have to go to the house to do it, and we stay cleansed.
In our own homes on Zoom.
Yeah. So it is worrying, isn't it, that people have got a little bit carried away, haven't they? What happened to good old fashioned Mystic Meg sat with a turban round your head and a little crystal ball?
Mm.
It's literally gone out the window. Just because you have ability or a gift or whatever you want to call it doesn't give you 100% leeway to go and clear or do everything that
Yeah.
you think you can do. Because some
Personally though, Jane, I could see you as like little person going into a house going, look into the lake, Carolyn.
and
Look
look
into
at
the lake.
but you know,
People have
when
asked
we
me,
did
said,
that
"Oh, 'cause
course,
you're a medium,
yeah,
can you not help me? I think there's something
no,
in my house. Can you not tell me what's in the house?" I said, "No." I always say, "I'll give you names. These are the people you need to have." I've always said to people, look at what they do. And
yeah.
I'm saying the
We
same
went
about
on that
angel
course,
boards.
Tina. We went on that course, and I remember sitting there on the first day going, Polly, what am I doing here? This isn't what I do. I'm a behind the scenes, quite quiet. I know I'm not quiet in general, but quiet person. I do what I do, but I don't need to be broadcasting it. I don't need my names up in lights. That hasn't worked, has it? Because we keep having these demos and my name's up all over Facebook, podcast. But I was sitting there thinking, this isn't me. And by the end of the first day, I was hooked. Wasn't hooked because, it is me. Hooked because I suddenly thought, oh yeah, actually, you can do this. And actually realised that there was elements in my journey where I was approached by a complete stranger, funny enough, who wrote a book. And he signed it and wrote a really weird message in it. And it's only dawned on me when I did this course that he'd foresee what I was going to do 10 years down the line. And I still look at that book now and laugh and think, how did that man step out of his little tent like Mr. Benny was at a psychic fair in Farnborough? He stepped out of this massive tent in this great big posh hotel, and he said, it was his healing tent, but it was the size of 6 of us could have camped in there for the night. And he had books on the side. He went, oh, would you like one? I went, are they yours? And he just smiled. And it turned out he was the author. And he wrote about demon busting. And I bought that book and he signed it with a little message almost telling me this was what I was going to do. So it's weird that, again, I ignored what was probably coming my way. And I've probably needed people like Polly to push me that way. But Never did I think I would do it. I'm not cocky enough to sit here now thinking I can clear everything. It's still a learning curve for us, but it really frustrates me that I am mopping up people's messes,
Yeah.
or we both are, of local people now, from readings, from spirit boards,
Mm.
paranormals, in fact, from everything spiritual, even a psychic fair, if it's not run in the right way. We are mopping up a lot of negative energy,
Yeah.
and it's
Oh,
weird.
wow.
It is weird.
Somebody asked me the other day, because I do card readings for Australia, Newcastle, you name it. You know, people who've obviously got family that have been to me, so I'll do readings FaceTiming them. And they've said, "Oh, can you do an angel board FaceTime?" No! How on earth can I do an angel board
What?
FaceTiming?
Who's going to push it
How?
around?
Well, somebody said that there's some, this can be done on FaceTime. No, it cannot.
I mean, a lot has been done online since the dreaded COVID. I mean, obviously, I never worked online till COVID, and healing I've taught online. It's weird at first. I gave it online during COVID. It takes a bit of getting used to, doesn't it, working online? But there is many things I think we can do via Zoom, like
There
this.
is. Angel boards I
And
would be very iffy about. I mean, you'd have to have, for example, if it was just Tina on it, or just me, or just you, you're the one with your finger on it, then you can get accused of this, that, and the other, or cheating,
Yeah,
or what have you. I mean, you want really in an ideal world, even if your finger is on it, sometimes a bit of energy is needed. But when I used to do the angel board, if there was only one person I'd put my finger on, I mean, I'd be putting it on so light it would be falling off. It'd be falling down the
yeah,
hole in the
yeah.
middle. You know what I
Spirit,
mean?
no, I think Spirit, no, I don't like them, because when we do our group and I sit with one group doing the spirit board, it does not move. I step away, Polly goes on it, it moves. It's almost like I'm going, I don't want to do this, and they're not going to do it. But getting back to that, no, if they wanted a spirit board, they might as well just ask for a mediumship reading online, hadn't they? That can be done, because we
Yeah.
know that can be done anywhere. I've just think I'm looking at time, so I'm thinking we ought to wrap this up, ladies.
Yeah.
Tina, the lovely Tina, I will post your page, which is, I always want to say feathers, but it's a fox,
A fox's feather.
foxes, and I'm not dissing Tina for her angel boards. I may have a different opinion to her, but I've seen her review. So if anyone has watched this, you will be in for a treat, because also as a person, like I said, she's got a lovely energy, lovely nature, and you would enjoy being in her company. In fact, you could even talk me into coming to watch an angel board, even if I didn't like them. But yeah, Polly, do you want to add anything?
No, it's just lovely to have you, Tina. And same as Jane, as what Jane's just said, we totally trust you and love you anyway. So we know that you're going to do everything with the right intention. And it's been amazing to see your beautiful face.
So your
Thank
next
you for
sound
having
bath,
me.
Tina. When's your next sound bath?
I only do the last Wednesday evening of every month, and the last Saturday afternoon of every month, because I'm too busy playing nursemaid these days now.
Rightio. So anyone that looks on Tina's page, you can see that, because she's not just doing angel boards. Polly, you know where to find her, and me, you know where to find me. So thank you, Tina. We
Thank you
might have
very
you
much,
back.
ladies.
And
Been a pleasure.
just a very last quick just thought for anybody that has watched it all the way through. Please, 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 if you are going to go or interested in having an angel board reading, please go to somebody reputable, because it is so important that you're looking after yourself and the people around you and your home. So please, like I said, do your research. If you don't live anywhere near Portsmouth area, and you live right up north, either wait for Tina to come and visit.
I'm not taking my angel board up there.
Family up there.
Back to our
Or
roots.
make sure that you do your research and that you are going with somebody reputable with a good reputation and is going to be working from the highest light and intention.
Yes. And to add that to the end, that means everything. Any spiritual practice that you do your homework. Yes, it is a lot of word of mouth, and sometimes even word of mouth can let people down. I know that from a client recently that's contacted me. Word of mouth is the best way to find people, but sometimes people can be a bit blindsided as well, can't they, by some of the things people they see. But do your research and make sure that person has the right integrity. And if you don't feel comfortable sat with them, whatever practice you step in for, leave. You're never duty bound to stay there just because you've booked the appointment. If you're not comfortable, you've got the right to leave, and I wouldn't be offended if someone did it. So, only to the fact I'd hate to think what I did to do it. But, if I went somewhere now and I wasn't comfortable, I'd be out of there. So anyone watching this, make sure you feel comfortable, make sure you feel safe, and make sure you tune into our podcast next week.
And if you would subscribe, it does not cost you anything to subscribe to our channel. It'd
This
be
goes
really
out
very much appreciated.
Goes out and then onto YouTube on a Sunday. So like Polly said, please do subscribe.
It just helps us out with the algorithms and all that.
Well, that's another word I can't say, isn't it? That's why she does the big words.
Say it anyway. Say it anyway.
Algorithms.
You said it. Woohoo! Woohoo! She did it. She did it.
Algorithms. But it's the time of night. My brain doesn't work this time of night. It doesn't work during the day, but it certainly don't work at night. Right, on that note then, we will say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.